Well, folks, through 3 weeks, the SEC West looks wide open, and isn't it fittingly ironic that in its last year before the SEC disbands its two-division system, that perhaps the greatest single division in college football history, winning 10 of the SEC's 14 national championships in the 21st century. That's not only more than twice the number of championships of any other conference, that's more national championships. That's more than every other Power 5 conference combined. Yeah, that same division for the first time in quite some time, in my opinion, has no clear favorite or even favorites to win the division, let alone a clear-cut national championship contender. Yeah, sure, there's some people that are already all in on LSU or Ole Miss or both. And if I had to pick one or two favorites through 3 weeks, those would be the two teams. However, I'd hardly consider them clear-cut favorites at this point. I mean, really, what have they or any other team in the West done to warrant that type of confidence already? Does beating up on a Mississippi State team that looked absolutely lifeless on Saturday and that probably has one of the worst defenses in the entire country make LSU a clear-cut favorite to win the division? Does hanging with Florida State for a half before getting run out of the building in the second half make them a clear-cut favorite to win the division? I personally don't think so. Give Ole Miss credit for handling their business against lesser competition, but does beating an at-the-time ranked Tulane team without their starting quarterback and without their starting running back make them a clear-cut favorite to win the division? Not in my mind. From a sheer performance standpoint through 3 weeks, I think it is fair to say that those two teams have performed the best. And you could say teams like Alabama and Mississippi State have played the worst. But does that mean a team like Alabama with their elite caliber of talent and Nick Saban as their head coach can't get it going at some point? Absolutely not. And honestly, we'd probably be fooling ourselves to think that they won't at some point. Texas A&M and Arkansas failed their respective first test against true competition, A&M falling 48-33 against Miami in week 2, Arkansas recently falling 38-31 against BYU in week 3. However, regardless if you believe in those individual teams or not, they do have a lot of talent on their roster and are technically still undefeated in SEC play. Then there's Auburn, who's quietly 3-0, quietly because we don't really know that they've played anybody yet. Maybe Cal will prove to be decent. We'll continue to learn more about them and A&M this weekend when they face off. Just like we're going to continue to learn a lot more about the rest of the teams. Arkansas at LSU, Mississippi State at South Carolina, Ole Miss at Alabama. There are always those who will come around and pridefully and ignorantly tell you that they have the entire college football landscape figured out on a week-to-week basis, despite how wrong they may have been the week prior. The same people that might tell you there's no doubt LSU is the clear favorite, or that the Bama dynasty is dead, or that Arkansas won't win another game because they lost to BYU, or that Texas A&M is eyeing another 8-4 season at best. And so all I simply say is, we'll see. We shall see. For you see, I don't have, nor do I pretend to have, everything figured out to this point. But one thing I am confident in saying at this point is get ready for quite the wild ride, quite the spectacle in the final season of college football's greatest division ever. Oh yeah, and go Hogs!